under our current trade rules. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, and we're ready for the next speaker.
Well, if you would pass on my gracious thanks to Secretary Ross and distinguished members of the panel. Thank you for your patience and your precious time today. For the record, my name is Mark Millet. I'm the President and CEO of Steel Dynamics, known as SDI. I was one of the 3 co-founders of the company in 1994. Our company produced 9.3 million tons of steel in 2016 with 7,400 associates. Yet we have an annual capacity of 11 million tons. That underutilization was a direct effect of imported steel. Over the last 5 years, we've made approximately $2 billion of capital investments, including a $1.65 billion investment on a 3.5 million ton plant in Mississippi, previously owned by Severstal of Russia. We're a major scrap company. We're also one of the largest galvanized sheet producers, the 2nd largest structural producer, and the leading rail producer in the US today. Our products are vital to our national and economic security. They go into national defense, military installations, transportation infrastructure, building construction, and autos. Our Mississippi plant is a major steel supplier to oil country, tubular goods, and line pipe mills in Texas. The steel import problem stems from global overcapacity, but I think perhaps more accurately, it is the irresponsible actions of sovereign states that continued production regardless of demand to maintain employment. In America, it's simple. We produce the order, we produce the demand. If demand drops, we curtail production, we reduce work hours, we idle plants. We must recognize that 70% of the global steel capacity today is in state hands. This must be addressed through a global solution. For example, we filed anti-dumping and countervailing duty cases in 2015 on corrosion-resistant sheet and cold-rolled steels. Duties of over 100% eliminated direct Chinese imports of each product by over 100,000 tons per month. However, just last month, in April 2017, 460,000 tons of corrosion-resistant sheet and 230,000 tons of cold-rolled sheet were imported, almost 50% more than before we filed those cases. In addition, more than 700,000 tons of steel pipe and tube were imported in April alone. We are playing a game of whack-a-mole. We hit the Chinese with duties, and Chinese steel goes to 10 other countries to become cold-rolled steel, corrosion-resistant sheet, steel, or pipe. We're also seeing our market for structurals erode as massive quantities of fabricated structures are imported. Big international companies, such as Bechtel and Fluor, are fabricating whole plants in China. Between 2013 and 2017, imports doubled from 850,000 tons to 1.7 million tons, and they keep growing today. World Steel Dynamics released a study on April 13, 2017, on the international hot roll market. I will attach it to our written comments, but the study said the Chinese export prices were about $400 a short ton, which it stated was $100 a ton below Chinese marginal cost. They're losing real money. The study said that US domestic prices were at $640 a ton, $240 or 60% higher than the Chinese export price. This is why SDI favors quotas at the 2010 or 2011 volume of imports. The US and the rest of the world must cut off subsidized and dumped Chinese steel exports to stop this game of whack-a-mole and to get China to truly shutter excess capacity now, not 5 or 10 years from now. To do otherwise would truly jeopardize our national and economic security. And as I sit there hearing the testimony today, I'm reminded of President Roosevelt. Just prior going into World War II, he addressed the nation. He urged that they were the arsenal of democracy. He knew that there was infrastructure and the productivity of the American people that would win World War II. And indeed, he was right. Today, the productivity of the American worker is by far better than ever has been before, and it's far better than any other country in the world. We have to make sure that it has a manufacturing base to operate in tough times in the future. So, thank you.
Good, thank you for your remarks.
Could I address the one question that came up earlier?
Sure, absolutely.
I think the question was regarding certain products cannot be imported into the U.S. And certainly there are products that can't be imported. They can be imported, but they're not manufactured in the States today. I would tell you that it's very, very small volume. They're easily identifiable and can be separated from the rest of the products and should not be the basis of any broad policy. I think it's illustrative, perhaps, to consider why those products aren't made today. As Mr. Gerard said earlier, you know, we used to make 125 million tons of product in this country. Today it's 85 million tons. When we co-founded SDI in 1993, there were 55 principal steel companies. Today, there are only 15. The good side of that is the American steel industry has become incredibly efficient. We can compete with anyone in the world. The integrated mills are down to 1 man-hour per ton or less. The electric arc furnace industry is down to about 0.3 man-hours per ton. We can compete with anyone. Yet, the industry, many cannot make the cost of capital today. The consequence is that we are unable, some of our industry are unable to reinvest in their facilities, make those high-cost niche markets.
Thank you. Ready for our next speaker.
Good afternoon. I'm Alexander Maas, President of Maas Flange Corporation. I'm here on behalf of the Coalition of American Flange Producers, its members and employees. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before each and every one of you here today. We fully support the Section 232 investigation on steel imports and urge the Secretary of Commerce to find that these imports are threatening to impair our country's national security and that assertive action must be taken. Maas Flange Corporation is a